Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for this invitation. I made a short presentation just to be sure that we have time for questions. First, I'd like to have 3 slides about collab packaging. We are a Portuguese-owned company. We are owned by HAR Holding. We are a global player with more than 50 years of experience. We are located only in Europe. We have plants in Portugal, Spain, and Poland. We have around 700 employees and a turnover of 119 million euros in 2021. Our packaging solutions are mostly metal. We produce aerosol in tin plate made of steel and also aluminum. We produce industrial cans for paints and coatings of tin plate. Food cans, like those butter cookies that you already probably know. And we also have a factory in Portugal of plastic packaging. Our mission and packaging mission, the purpose of this presentation is not focused exactly on our business, but especially in packaging waste and focus on packaging mission. We think everyone is demonizing packaging in a certain way. It feels like packaging is the worst material that is impacting the environment. But in fact, if you look to this chart, you see that for some food, you don't even see the impact of packaging on CO2 emissions. Most of the impact is land use or farm or even animal feed, but packaging, you don't even see it in most of situations. So CO2 emissions from packaging are often small comparing with these other factors. And packaging has also a very important purpose concerning food. And usually when we have a good designed packaging, we have less food waste. If you look to dairy products, for instance, the packaging-related food waste is huge comparing to other topics. So the total amount of food waste per food category linked to packaging, we can see that packaging is really important to assure that we don't have so much food waste. So we made a work session in our company at the beginning when we start developing our sustainability model. And we start thinking that packaging has a really important mission. Packaging has to assure the content protection. It has to assure product safety, hygiene, and quality. Packaging is also has to assure all the logistics requirements to ensure that transport, handling, storage is done in an efficient and effective way. It's really important to connect with the consumers, to have a good experience for consumers, mainly during use, reuse, even in disposal, recycling. It really has to be simple for the consumer. And it's really important to give information, transparent information for all the supply chain, from the production, from the raw materials to the disposal. And marketing, it's really important to give the brand some visibility. And when we go to the supermarket, we choose our products according to the packaging we can see. If everything was the same, if all the packaging was the same, it was more difficult to choose our products. But we have really huge challenges in our industry. I put here what we consider are the biggest 3 challenges. Climate change. Our main raw material is steel, and to produce steel, it has huge impact on CO2 emissions. It has a huge impact on climate change. And on the other hand, extreme weather events from climate change has an impact on our global supply chain. So it's really important sustainability-related challenge for us. We also have a challenge of material scarcity. Some of the metals we are using are scarce. Even we are competing with some electric products for some metals. So we have to think about the future of our business, taking this into consideration. And we have also a huge challenge concerning pollution and the environmental degradation from packaging waste. And for this meeting today, I will focus only on this challenge. I have here this graph from European Commission. As you can see, since 2006 and what it's expected to 2040, the packaging waste generation per capita per material, as you see, is a rising trend on packaging waste. We really need to do something about this, especially for paper and plastics. But it's a problem for all of us. That's why some legislation is being done, especially the packaging and packaging waste regulation that was already explained here today. And we want to be part of it. We want to reduce our packaging waste. Our approach in our company, and concerning the planet, we want to, every time we produce or develop a new packaging, every time we make decisions concerning our operations, our business models, we have to follow those steps concerning the planet. First, we want to reinvent. We are looking for new materials, bio-based materials, renewable materials, to introduce in our packaging portfolio. We are refusing what is not needed to reduce the number of the tons of materials used. We are reducing when we are developing a new packaging. We try to use less material. We use less energy, less water, less resources to reuse whenever possible, reuse our equipments, try to build a new packaging that is able to be reused every time, and to recycle. Our purpose is to find packaging that is fully recyclable, like metal cans, but also to increase the recycle incorporated in our raw materials. I will give you some examples regarding metal, because we have here other companies that are talking about other types of materials. And I will give you some examples on what we are working. Concerning reduce, we are developing packaging with less material, with thinner tin plate. We also develop small aerosol cans with more pressure, but with less material used. And for general line cans, 12% of weight reduction. For aerosol cans, almost 40% weight reduction, and with a really important impact on carbon footprint, but with less material used. Concerning recycle, as you can see in this graph, this is the graph for packaging waste treatment. And as you can see, since 2018, the rates have stagnated. We don't see any improvement on these rates. And that's an issue, and that's why we think metal packaging has really important role in this topic. because metal you can recycle again and again and again, and it doesn't lose its properties, it doesn't lose any quality in this material. And it's interesting because 80% of metal ever produced since ages is still being used in buildings, in bridge, in our cans. We don't know, perhaps the steel that is in our cans is 2,000 years old. So it never loses its properties. That's why we use this label, metals recycled forever. Our recycling rates are really high. We say that steel is the recycling champion. In 2020, we had in Europe 85.5% of steel packaging recycled in Europe. Unfortunately, Portugal is not a very good example, but we are trying to work on that, the same as glass. But it's the best material for recycling, even from its properties. And it's not quite a closed loop. We don't have packaging to packaging, but we have an open loop from packaging to a bicycle, to a building, to a bridge, to an automobile. And since it's a permanent material and it never loses any properties, we don't lose the material. It's always applicable in different scenarios. And some of the topics that are characteristics of steel is the most recycled material in the world. And since it has magnetic properties, it's really easy to recover from all the waste streams. And recycling this type of material still saves resources, and we have a scarcity problem, and reduces CO2 emissions, and steel is infinitely recyclable. And 100% of all recycled steel packaging is reused to make new steel. We don't lose this material. We have some issues with recycled content. We have at the moment 58% of the steel with recycled material. But in fact, it's not possible to increase this number, at least in the short term, because the consumption of steel is increasing so much. If the construction increases, if the consumption of packaging increases, and there is no recycled material enough to the needs of the market. So at the moment, we have 58% of recycled content, but it's quite difficult to improve these rates. For the next steps for our company, I have here just this last slide. What we want to do is, we think that when we start making these changes in the design phase, we have a huge impact on the environment, on people's life. So our sustainability model focuses firstly on the design phase. When we are developing a new product, when we are developing a new business model, when we are acquiring a new company, is the moment that we have the highest impact on planet or people. So that's the first step we do. That's what we call the inside-out perspective. We start in the design phase, then we look to our company to put our house in order. We try to improve our processes, to improve the energy consumption, water consumption. We try to improve our people's lives inside Collect Packaging. And then we have the connection with the rest of the world in our supply chain, because we have the commitment to be a responsible supply chain player. We work with suppliers, we work with customers to improve all the supply chain, and we also relate to universities, or other companies, communities where we are in, to improve our, what we call our role in the world, because we want to try to solve the issues and the challenges concerning sustainability, but making money of it. We want to try to find a solution that is a win-win situation for all, for our business and for other stakeholders. And that's it. Thank you so much. I don't know if you have any questions.
You mentioned steel, but your steel packagings in most cases are tin plate.
Yes.
So just tell me, what happens with the tin in the recycling? Does it go off as tin oxide, or is there anything else that can be done?
Some of the process, some of the tin, you are able to take it out of the tin plate to reuse it. But some of the tin you cannot. It will be in the process of recycling steel, and you will lose that tin. And that's an issue, because tin is one of the metals that is scarce. So we are trying to find a new solution. But it's crucial for tin plate, because if you only have the steel without tin, you will have issues, quality issues. So we are trying to find other solutions other than tin, but part of the tin we are able to reuse it, but some of it will be lost. Other questions?
Hi, thanks for your presentation. A lot of the discussion I think we'll have today will be around complying for the laws of chemical safety. And I know with steel, sometimes the applications require coatings.
Yes.
On the inside of the can itself. How do you all approach the coatings challenge, especially the new regulations are going to be also very focused on all the things that can migrate out of these coatings, because they're usually polymeric. And is that something you all, is it a challenge, or do you have a perspective on how to address that?
Yes, I'm not the expert on that topic, but we have a team in our company it's working with other players in this industry to find coatings that do not migrate to food and don't have issues according to the legislation. But it's an issue, but I think it's almost solved. We are working with some of our suppliers to find good solutions for that problem.
Okay, thanks.
A very quick question. Between tin plate and aluminum, is there any major difference that you could highlight
So
between the recyclability and
steel is more recycled than aluminum. Recycled. But they are both permanent materials, so they don't lose their properties. Steel has tin, it's an issue, but aluminum has not that type of issue. With aluminum, we can have a closed loop from can to can. But it's harder to collect and recycle, but they are good materials for recycle. In terms of quality of material, to protect its content, they are almost the same. Then you have the difference of prices, right? No more questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.